Hello and welcome to 3 Minute Gaming. I'm Nathan, and today I'm going to tell you if this game's with your time and bandwidth. Today's game is Prince of Persia: The Two Thrones. The prince's story comes to an end with the finale of the trilogy and a return to the tone and storytelling of Sands of Time. Is Two Thrones a satisfying conclusion? Prince of Persia: The Two Thrones was released on original Xbox, PlayStation 2, GameCube, and PC, and was also part of the HD Prince of Persia remaster on PS3. Regardless of how you play it, however, the game will take you about 10 to 12 hours to get through. So what exactly is Prince of Persia: The Two Thrones? Well, it's the last in the Sands of Time trilogy and an attempt to retcon a lot of the story and tone beats from Warrior Within. It's still a linear 3D parkour platformer, only this time they added stealth kills. The prince is back, as in the original voice actor Yuri has returned. Picking up right after Warrior Within, the prince returns to his city of Babylon to find the vizier from the first game has invaded, and within minutes the Empress of Time is dead and the prince infected by the sands. Now the prince has to kick the vizier and his sand monsters out of Babylon with the help of Farah from the first game. Totally, this game swings back towards Sands of Time, which feels like a much better fit. The Empress of Time narrates with the prince still monologues, allowing for some good flavor, and the return of Farah, who no longer remembers the prince due to timeline nonsense, allows for some entertaining back and forth between her and the prince. Story aside, the platforming is the best it's ever been. There are tons of new moves here, from wall plates the prince can grab and then use to continue a wall run or extend it, launching shutters which will allow a long jump from a run, as well as a Sam Fisher-esque split between two columns that the prince can shimmy down. This is in service to the game's other big mechanic, stealth kills. See, the enemies in Two Thrones are incapable of looking up, or at least I assume that's the case, so as the prince you can use your parkour skills to position yourself above them and then dive down for a stealth kill, which is basically just a quick time event. Stealth kills allow skilled platforming players to forego the combat, which I'm gonna say I am all for this. The combat itself has elements of Warrior Within, but enemies more like Sands of Time. And the enemies generally have higher health and you fight less of them at once, but the game does pick up the keep up enemy weapons bit from Warrior Within, as well as the large number of combos. This changes, however, when you switch to Dark Prince. Because of his sand infection, the prince sometimes turns into his evil side, armed with a chain whip and constantly draining health. The prince has a few new platforming moves like grappling light fixtures to extend runs, as well as being much stronger in combat with his whip. You only switch to the Dark Prince when the story dictates, however, so don't expect to be a murder machine all the time. And honestly, that's basically the gist. Two Thrones is a return to the more linear style Prince of Persia game, as well as the lighter tone, a new stealth system, and of course upgrades to graphics and platforming. So what do I like about Prince of Persia: The Two Thrones? Well, the platforming is still phenomenal, big surprise there, but now with the wall plates, launchers, and way better telegraph traps, Two Thrones feels fresh even when compared to its predecessors. Additionally, the stealth kill system feels like they finally figured out how to use the prince's skill set in combat that works. The prince is a rogue, so being able to basically forego combat scenarios for smart platforming fits the loop perfectly. And lastly, the return of the old prince for the story was the right call, as Yuri's self-narration paired with the return of fan favorite Farah really makes this feel like an Arabian Nights tale again, and the ending is basically perfect. When it comes to the bad, the Dark Prince segments can be a bit hit or miss. I actually really like the health timer and platforming because it adds a level of stress to it, but the combat is still generally pretty bland. Speaking of combat, it feels weirdly regressive compared to Warrior Within, mostly because enemies are so much spongier this time around and the game wants to punish you for not stealth killing them. And the bosses, particularly the final one, ugh, so many QTEs. And oh right, yeah, the QTEs for stealth kills and bosses attack are kind of BS. They start fairly lenient, but the timing changes to be harder as the game progresses, which makes the stealth kills feel more like punishment than a reward, which kind of undoes the whole point of them. Seriously, these QTEs kind of suck. As you know, Rick Games here on a 3-point scale, must play, maybe consider, don't bother. I still think The Two Thrones is a must play. Replaying it now, I was surprised that this isn't the fan favorite. It manages to mix the best parts of Sands with the best parts of Warrior Within, adding a great new stealth mechanic, and a ton of new platforming stuff. Two Thrones is absolutely worth seeking out today, except maybe the Wii version because that waggle sucks. But like the rest of the trilogy, Two Thrones definitely holds up, and you should seek it out in any way that you can. And that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. If you played Prince of Persia: The Two Thrones, what do you think about it? I genuinely think this is one of the best trilogies in gaming, and I would love Ubisoft to do a re-release. But regardless, let me know in the comments and make sure you go out there and give this whole trilogy a look.